What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, you saw the thumbnail. Why'd you click on it? We're going to be talking about the most and least impressive team in those Power 4 conferences so far. I know it's early, only week 1, but who are we if we're not overreacting? What is sports if we're not jumping to conclusions after the start of a season? So we're going to be breaking down for you the most and the least impressive team of the Big 10, the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC. So before we get into it, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of this month. Let's make it happen. Let's jump into the video.
One hand, ball comes out, two hands. I'm pulling for him that way. Now on the wheel, throws it up. Lacey caught it. Into the end zone. Contact. What a catch! And again, caught. T-Mac, touchdown.
We got ACC football has been back. We know what this college season has brought us. The most excitement. I think College Football 25 has actually done a lot in terms of viewership and especially the youth getting excited for the college football season. So let's go into it. I know it's week 1. I know there's not a lot to tell from these teams, but I'm going to give you my most impressive and least impressive team in each one. So kind of the big hitters and the disappointment so far in this first week, starting with the ACC. And this one's pretty obvious. Miami Hurricanes, the most impressive. Miami came into the season ranked for the first time in a while. The U, they've been trying to get back to relevancy for a long time. Trust me, I'm a Texas Longhorn fan. I know how it feels to go from top of the mountain to damn. How have we fallen this far? And that's where the Miami Hurricanes have been for a long time now. But when you look at Miami and you see what they did over to the Gators, you saw what Coach Cristobal was getting the boys fired up, went into Gainesville and put a whooping on Florida. That's what you want to see. Dare I say it, can the U be back? Is the U fully back? And you saw them talking that talk, getting on the Florida Gators, and we're getting to Coach Billy Napier and what Florida has, the issues that they have, a little foreshadowing into the future, because we're going to talk about Florida again in this video. Now, for the least impressive team in the ACC, again, a no-brainer. How can you even think of picking another team besides the Florida State Seminoles? I don't know what happened. This is supposed to be the revenge tour. This is supposed to be the season that you come out ready to rock, ready to roll, ready to prove to everybody that you should have been given an opportunity in the college football playoffs last year. You went undefeated last year, got snubbed from the playoffs. You're supposed to be pissed off. You're supposed to be angry. You bring in a big-time quarterback, money-wise, in DJU to come in from Clemson, lead your team, and be able to take you back into the college football playoffs, possibly another undefeated season. Those were the expectations, and it has looked as bad as you can imagine. Week 0, I gave them a little bit of a leeway. I do think Georgia Tech is a good team. That is a neutral site in Dublin, Ireland. Who knows? Maybe there was some stuff with the flight and sleep schedule and things of that nature. Whatever happened. But at home at Florida State against Boston College, shout out to Coach Billy O'Brien that he had them boys playing. Boston College may be a team now, but you can't lose that game if you're Florida State. Everybody's saying the season's over for Florida State. I can't disagree. Florida State, the most disappointing team in the ACC. Now, moving on to the Big 10. That's right, baby. Big 10 football is back. Love to see it. The most impressive team for me is tough. You might disagree with who I pick, but I'm picking Penn State. No, I do not think West Virginia is as good or will be as good as Pat McAfee in the show made West Virginia seem that they were. I don't think that they're going to be I don't think they have an opportunity to play in the Big 12 championship. I don't see them as one of the top dogs in the Big 12. I think they're going to finish somewhere around middle of the pack. But week 1, to go into that stadium, to go play West Virginia on the road, that is a tough team to play for Penn State. And more importantly, it's not necessarily the opponent that they played, but how they played. Penn State always has a good defense. Penn State can always run the football. Very similar to the Iowa Hawkeyes. What you're looking for Penn State is, can they stretch the field? Will they have a quarterback that gives them those big play opportunities, that can give them some explosive plays in the passing game, something that Penn State kind of always lacks? And when you see Drew Eller and the improvements that he's made this year, Penn State's got a shot. That game right there in West Virginia, I hate the rain delay. I hated it because it just took away when they came back from the rain delay in West Virginia and you saw them pan to the stadium and that whole top row was empty. I was like, oh, it's over. They're not coming back. If there was any chance for them to come back, it's over. They needed that crowd. They needed that stadium. They needed that juice. They didn't have it in Penn State. It just looked like they were like, hey, let's get this game over with. We've been sitting here for how long? Let's get it over with and let's keep moving. West Virginia, though, looks like Drew Aller can take that step in the right direction. If Drew Aller can give them that consistent play, give them that big playability, stretch the field the way he did against West Virginia, watch out, man. You could see Penn State in a Big Ten championship game come the end of the season. Now, for the least impressive team, there were others to choose from. This one may be a little controversial. This one is not so easy, so predictable the way Florida State was. I'm picking Oregon. Why am I picking Oregon? I think they will be fine. They have Boise State coming to their house. They're going to have another home game against Boise State this weekend. But the way they played Idaho, Oregon isn't a team that's supposed to be good. They're a team that's supposed to compete for a national championship this year. This is supposed to be Oregon's opportunity to go into the Big Ten and potentially win the Big Ten. We had a lot of people, I think even Kirk Herbstreit had said he picked Oregon to win the Big Ten Conference in their first year, which is a tall task, but that's how talented Oregon is. So to see them struggle against Idaho makes you wonder, hey, when you go November, when you take that trip to Ohio State, when you take that trip to Wisconsin, when you take these trips to these cold weather places, how is your team going to perform? Will you actually win those games? It starts creeping in that doubt. Oregon should have took care of business, blew Idaho out. It could have been a simple situation of overlooking your opponent, playing down to your opponent. They were never in real trouble, like where the game was like, oh crap, slipping away from them. Idaho did a good job on closing the gap a little bit, making it interesting, but then Oregon was able to bounce back, answer right back. Taylor Gabriel, veteran. I think this is his 6th or 7th year in college football, so he's been around. He's going to know how to handle it. The interesting thing for Oregon was the lack of the deep balls, the lack of those big. I talked about Penn State. Oregon's known for that, right? Penn State's been looking for it, been struggling with it over the last few years. Oregon has not. Oregon always hits the big plays. They always make those big explosive plays to blow that lead up. But I think they'll bounce back. So right now, yes, Oregon was the least impressive team just because of the expectation the Oregon Ducks had coming into this year. I think they'll bounce back, and I think they'll take care of Boise State and then hopefully get the ball rolling and look like the Oregon Ducks we thought they were going to be to start the season. Moving on to the Big 12. Most impressive was not necessarily a team. It was a player, Tet McMillan of Arizona Wildcats. The Arizona get it by default because that dude, I couldn't make this video without talking about Tet McMillan. 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. The dude is a freaking superstar. Travis Hunter gets all of the attention, all the media hype, and I get it for good reason. Travis Hunter may be the best receiver in college football, but you know who's right there with him? Tet McMillan. Tet McMillan is a guy who is 6'4", 210 plus pounds, can do a little bit of everything on the field. And I mean, the stat line speaks for itself, man. Just imagine if Travis Hunter had gotten 300 yards and 4 touchdowns against North Dakota State. It would be insane. The crowd, the internet would break. That's what Tet McMillan did. And people really aren't talking about it all that much. Like, they recognize it as incredible, but for some reason, he just doesn't get the same love, and I understand why. I'm here to give it to him. Arizona Wildcats, the most impressive team from the Big 12 for me. The least impressive, this one is obvious. This one is as obvious as you can get. Texas Tech. What in the world are we doing, man? Texas Tech used to be a team that I would worry about going into Lubbock. As a Texas fan, I would go, oh man, going to Lubbock isn't easy. That's a tough win. And they're over here struggling. They go into overtime. They give up 500 yards passing, scores 52-51. They just squeak it out in overtime. Texas Tech is going to be in for a long season after what we saw from week 1, especially on the defensive side. If you're struggling there, I just told you about what Arizona was doing on offense. Good luck stopping them. Good luck stopping Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and all the other teams in the Big 12. Texas Tech is going to have a rough season. And lastly, last but not least, the SEC, of course, the Big Daddy, the top conference, all of that good stuff. It used to annoy me as a Texas fan. Now I love it, baby. It's the best conference in football. The most impressive team. No, surprise, surprise, I'm not picking the Texas Longhorns. I am sticking with the #1 team in the nation, the Georgia Bulldogs. And how can you not? They did nothing to make you feel like they shouldn't be the #1 team. When I saw that game and the way they handled Clemson, that defense looks like an NFL defense. Georgia looks like an NFL team. What do I mean by that? Do I mean that they can go and win games against other NFL teams? No. What I'm saying is, look-wise, the demeanor, the sideline, the way they operate, the play calling, the defense and the offense, the way things balance, the complementary football that they play, it reminds you of the way an NFL team operates, where it's like, yo, these are professionals doing this professionally. That's what Georgia looked like defensively. I don't know who's going to score on them. Yes, Clemson isn't the Clemson of old. This isn't Trevor Lawrence's Clemson. This isn't Deshaun Watson's Clemson. This is a new Clemson with a coach who refuses to hit the transfer portal and bring in the talent he needs to. But with that being said, it's still Clemson. At the very least, Clemson is going to be a decent team this year. They may even still be good. They may still even play in the ACC championship the way some of these other ACC teams are looking. And Georgia made them look like they don't even belong in the FBS. Georgia is the most impressive team in the SEC after week 1. And the least impressive team, I told you earlier that I was going to talk about this team again. It so happens to be we start the video with them, and now we end the video with them. The Florida Gators. Billy Napier has a massive problem on his hand. That team looked pitiful. To allow Miami to come into your home turf in your season opener and absolutely mop the field with you, while your recruits are sitting there front row as they're doing, Miami's doing the Gator chomp, break it in half, telling your high school kids that you're interested in, that you're probably offering scholarships to, that you're bringing them out, flying them out to watch you play, to show them why they should come there. Miami fans are telling them, you sure you want to go here? Trust me, they lost a few interest in those kids. A few of those kids flipped. If they were going to Miami or if they were going to Florida, they're going to Miami now. A few of those kids definitely flipped and are now going to Miami. Billy Napier has a massive problem, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. He's not making it to the end of the season. I don't see it happening. I see him. There's a stretch where he has to play against Georgia and Texas, I think, in back-to-back games, and I think Tennessee a little bit before that. I don't know, though that stretch of those 3 games, he's going to be gone somewhere in there. I don't think he's going to make it to the end of the season. I don't know how this team just gets better. Maybe Miami is actually the best team in the nation. Maybe Miami's going to go on to have an undefeated season and win the national championship, and we'll be talking about this being the greatest Miami team of all time. Maybe. Or maybe Florida's in some really, really big trouble in the SEC, and Coach Napier may be in his final season. That's what I think. That's how I feel about those Power 4 conferences. Most impressive, least impressive. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you guys feel like it's going to shape out. And I will be back tomorrow with another video. Until then, like I said, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.